Some dishes take time to simmer. So do the best stories. Madeline Hart had always been the responsible one, the dependable one. The woman who knew how to keep everything in place even when the world around her was falling apart. But lately, she didn't feel in control of anything. At 47, she had thought her life would feel more stable, more certain. Instead, she was standing in her kitchen in the suburbs of Seattle, staring at the empty counter like it had betrayed her. Her daughter, Rachel, had just moved to Montreal for a job opportunity she couldn't pass up, and her James had started over long before their divorce papers were finalized. It wasn't heartbreak that haunted hurt was the silence, the stillness. It's a strange realization that she didn't really know what she liked anymore. And maybe that's why she signed up for the cooking class. Not because she was a terrible cook, she wasn't. Not because she needed a hobby, though. She definitely did. But because when she scrolled past the ad for Tuesday night's Culinary for Beginners, no pressure, just fun. On Facebook, something in her said yes. She showed up that first night wearing jeans, a light sweater, and a nervous smile. The kitchen studio was tucked in a cozy little corner of Capitol Hill, filled with hanging copper pans, string lights, and the faint scent of rosemary and garlic in the air. There were 10 other students, some in pairs, others flying solo-like. Her young couples, a retired man, 2 sisters trying to bond again after a falling out. It felt like a mix of stories walking into the same room. Then he walked in. Jake Morgan. He wasn't what Madeline expected. She imagined someone older, maybe strict or overly technical. Instead, Jake looked like someone from a hiking magazine. All built like he lifted things for fun, with soft brown eyes, messy hair, and a voice that made even knife safety sound intimate. "Welcome," he said with a grin. "Hope you're hungry." He wasn't just handsome. He had warmth, humor. He made everyone feel seen, including her. At first, Madeline kept her distance, blending into the group. But by the second or third class, she found herself listening more closely when Jake spoke. He remembered small things, her preference for less salt, the fact that she used to bake cookies with her daughter every Christmas. It wasn't flirtation. Not exactly. But it felt personal. One evening, as they diced shallots side by side, he looked over and smiled. "You always look so serious when you're cooking," he said. Madeline blinked, caught off guard. "Do I? Yeah? Like you're solving a crime instead of making soup." She laughed, and it surprised her how nice it felt to laugh like that, light and honest. "I guess I forgot how to enjoy this," she admitted. Jake nodded, not pressing further. But something in his gaze lingered, something quiet, curious. The 5th week was different. They were making pizza from scratch, flour dusting the air, music playing low in the background, classic oldies, Marvin Gaye and Otis Redding. The kind of music that made you feel like something could happen. Madeline had worn a navy blouse that brought out the color of her eyes. She hadn't done it for anyone in particular. At least that's what she told herself. Jake moved around the room, guiding, adjusting temperatures, joking with students. But his attention kept drifting back to her. Their eyes met more than once, and each time it felt ... charged ... as she struggled with her dough. Jake stepped in. "Mind if I help?" "Please," she said, exhaling with a small smile. He placed his hands over hers, not in a romantic way, just instructional. But the contact was electric. His fingers were warm, his hands steady. And for a moment, the rest of the room fell away. "You're doing fine," he murmured. "You're just saying that," she replied. "No," he said, softer this time. "You're better at this than you think." She looked up, startled by the sincerity in his voice. And that's when he noticed it. "You've got flour on your cheek?" He reached up, pausing an inch away, then pulled back. "Sorry, habit." Madeline wiped it herself, her cheeks warming more than the pizza oven behind them. The rest of the night blurred by. But the moment stayed. As the class ended and people packed up their containers of pizza, Jake called out, "Anyone want to stay?" and help clean up. Most made polite excuses. Madeline didn't. She didn't know why. She just did. They cleaned in silence, the kind that spoke louder than words. The clatter of dishes, the rhythm of wiping counters, it all felt strangely intimate, like the two of them had slipped into a different world, one where time moved slower, where glances carried meaning. When she bent down to pick up a stray whisk and turned, Jake was standing right there, close, too close. She froze. So, double quotes, he began, voice low. You're not just here for the recipes. Are you? The words hit her like a gust of wind. She searched his face, her breath caught in her chest. Are you? A long pause. Then tap, tap, tap. A loud knock at the glass door broke the moment. Another instructor signaling that the next group was waiting. Jake stepped back. They both laughed, too loudly, too quickly. The spell was broken, but not forgotten. Madeline gathered her things, her pulse still racing. See you next week, he asked. She nodded, though something in her wasn't sure what came next. Later that night, as she sat alone on her porch with a glass of wine, Madeline kept replaying the moment. The way he looked at her, the way she felt seen for the first time in years. She knew better than to fall for something uncertain. She'd been through heartbreak before. She knew how charm could mask danger, how people could disappear once the fantasy faded. But Jake didn't feel like fantasy. He felt real. Still, she also knew you can't build anything solid on a kitchen counter glance. Or could you? But what if she was wrong? What if she'd misread it all? It had happened before. In her last year of marriage, she kept believing James would come back to her, that he was just going through a phase, that the long hours and cold silences were temporary. She'd told herself stories until the truth had no space left to live. What if this was the same? What if Jake was just friendly, just kind? She hated how much she cared. By Friday, she had typed out a cancellation email 3 times. Each time, she deleted it. The next Tuesday was the last class, and part of her wanted to end this on her terms, to find out if it had all been in her head, if something was really cooking between them. As part 2 begins, the setting changes. The flight is landing. The soft bubble that had formed around Olivia and Daniel at 30,000 feet is about to burst. The real world waits below New York City, Olivia's uncertain new beginning, and for Daniel, a return to duty and distance. But before that happens, something meaningful takes place. Daniel reappears quiet.com, and holding a small envelope. This is the emotional bridge from part 1 to part 2. Look at this. Look at this. And we all know, I've been exploring. As we are. I've been exploring that. I've loved me so comlated. When we see / can lead pro cuter. I tell we see that tease. We see what we see / 2. That envelope isn't just paperweights. A symbol. A sign that what happened during the flight wasn't just casual conversation or polite service. It meant something to both of them. And more importantly, Daniel doesn't force a moment. He simply offers one. Daniel's note. A gentle invitation. To keep feeling inside the envelope is a handwritten note. Simple, kind, and deeply emotional. For someone brave enough to start again, sometimes. All we need is a little kindness in first class and in life. Maybe this isn't the end, but the beginning. Let's pause and explore that for a moment. This message touches 3 major emotional layers. Recognition of Olivia's courage. Daniel sees that Olivia isn't just flying to New York. Ease. Choosing to begin again despite her heartbreak. That takes strength. He honors that. The importance of kindness. He subtly reminds her us that small kindnesses matter. His special service wasn't just because it was first class. It was personal, real, and maybe what she needed more than she realized. An open door to possibility. The most powerful part of the note is the last line. Maybe this isn't the end, but the beginning. That's not a romantic claim. It's a hopeful offer. It's not a demand or a promise, just a maybe. Sometimes that's exactly what a broken heart needs. A maybe. The phone number, a modern but human gesture along with a note. Daniel gives Olivia his phone number. Now, this part could easily feel cliché in a lesser story, but here it's handled with care. Daniel doesn't ask for her number. He gives his without pressure, without expectation. It's a gesture of trust and respect. It says if you want to reach out, you can, but you don't have to. That small difference, giving without asking, makes the entire moment feel gentle and mature. It respects Olivia's space while still expressing interest. It's romantic, but not forceful. That's key. Olivia's inner shift from sadness to soft hope throughout the story. Olivia has been quietly broken. She hasn't cried dramatically or screamed into the night. Instead, she's done what many people do after heartbreaks. She's tried to hold herself together, move forward, and pretend she's okay. But Daniel's small acts of kindness, his listening, his presence, and his handwritten note touch her in a place that had gone numb for the first time since her engagement ended. She feels seen, understood, and valued. And even though they're strangers, something in Daniel's quiet way makes Olivia believe again, not just in people, but in herself. When she says softly, "I'll call you," it's not just about Daniel. It's about her choosing to keep her heart open. It's about allowing herself to believe in new beginnings, even when the past hurts so much. New York, more than a city, a symbol of reinvention as Olivia walks out of the plane and into New York City. We're reminded of what the city often represents in stories: change, chance, and identity. It's a place where people go to start over, find themselves, rewrite their stories. So Olivia isn't running away from her past anymore. She's stepping into her future, carrying with her not just the pain, but also the small, tender moment that gave her hope. The city lights aren't just lights anymore. They're possibility. Daniel's role in Olivia's healing, not a savior, but a mirror. It's important to understand Daniel's role in the story. He's not written as a knight in shining armor who rescues Olivia from heartbreak. Instead, he's a mirror, someone who reflects her emotions back to her, showing her that she's not alone. Her pain is real and valid. She still has the capacity to connect, and, maybe most importantly, Daniel reminds her that being hurt doesn't mean she's broken beyond repair. That kind of emotional healing is subtle but powerful. The final message: real love begins in quiet spaces. Closing moments of part 2 aren't loud or flashy. There's no kiss, no running through airports, no dramatic music playing. Instead, there's softness. Daniel and Olivia part ways with a possibility, not a promise. They don't say, "I love you." They say, "maybe." Oh my God. And sometimes that's more romantic. Because real love often begins not with fireworks, but with quiet understanding. That's the special service Olivia received in first class. Not extra pillows or fine wine, but emotional presence, warmth, and connection.